You're watching Pulse, and this is episode 85. Time for the good old StarCraft II news. This week we take a look at StarCraft II Patch 1.3.3 and Blizzard's post-patch situation report, some ladder hotfixes, hackers and extras, lots of tournament and event news, art and video updates, the newly launched warpprism.com and LiquidPro websites, and much more. Let's get to it. The biggest in the StarCraft news of this past week is no doubt the fact that patch 1.3.3 is in fact now live. StarCraft II Wings of Liberty patch 1.3.3 does feature several adjustments to race balance and bug fixes, which we have discussed many times over the past few weeks. If you want a bit of a recap though, you know exactly where to find it. This is not the end of the patch 1.3.3 news though, as a few hours ago Blizzard's patch 1.3.3, yes, I'm saying that a lot in this episode, situation report hit the official sites. Be sure to check the full patch notes out below to learn about all the latest changes. As these always work, in this report Blizzard discusses some of the most notable changes in the recent patch and sheds some more light on their design philosophy and thinking behind this update. Highlights include lengthy sections covering the new massive Archons, Blizzard's hopes that all their gateway and warp gate changes will resolve the 4-gate issue in PvP, the Terran bunker changes were made because there were too many bunker rushes versus Zerg, and Blizzard felt that adjusting the salvage return rate would be a positive change. They're probably right. Next up, the Ghost change was apparently a strategic, high-level change and shouldn't affect lower-level play too much. Then Blizzard actually admit they made a mistake with removing the Thor's energy, and that reverting it seems like the right thing to do now. They said that they don't like seeing Thors being massed, and they feel having the additional counters of EMP or feedback to the strike cannon ability is better so that one doesn't get into degenerating situations where the opponent is stuck without recourse. Lastly, for Zerg, Blizzard felt that infestors were getting away too easily on and off creep, so decided that slowing them down a little would even things out. Then the Spore Crawler change was done because air-based strategies versus Zerg are common due to Zerg anti-air units coming out later than other races. Because of this, it actually makes sense for Spore Crawlers to be more flexible than other races' anti-air structures. On a side note, they don't feel the same way about Spine Crawlers, as there are plenty of other anti-ground Zerg units out that players can use along with Spine Crawlers from the beginning of the game. So that's about it. If you were wondering, this was actually set up and written by David Kim. And if you didn't know, David Kim is a balance designer for StarCraft II and enjoys long, sun-scorched walks on Char. So as always, Blizzard will continue to listen to players' discussions and welcome constructive feedback. As with any balance-related changes, Blizzard have made these with a lot of care and consideration to ensure a great gameplay experience for players of all skill levels. You can read the full patch 1.3.3 situation report below, well worth checking out. Blizzard recently deployed a hotfix to resolve an issue that caused some players to disconnect from Battle.net when viewing certain leagues and ladder pages within player profiles. As a temporary result of this change, players who would previously have been disconnected will now see "not yet ranked" on the affected leagues and ladder pages, even if the player is already ranked. This is simply a side effect of the hotfix and will be addressed in their next client patch. Sounds good. I'd also, personally, love to see them fix that silly input limit reached thing soon. Read more about this below. In a few ladder and league related extras, you can read about a notorious disconnect hacker that's been terrorizing the Grandmasters League for the past week. He's currently sporting a crazy run of 69-0 and the #1 position on the North American ladder, and it seems like a lot of pros have actually held off playing on the ladder for the meantime because of him. Quite dramatic. Next and last up, we have rumors of the Korean server getting new portraits, achievements, and even a possible new league above Grandmasters. Yes, only rumors. I don't even see how that would be possible, but still, quite exciting. Check both of those out below. So when you need to step back from the ladder, the achievements, and the action, Joey Ray's Bar Forum is the place to share your own story set within the StarCraft universe. Dive into the richness of the Terran, Protoss and Zerg races, the violent political turmoil shrouding the Krupulu sector, and the infamous characters you love, or love to hate. With this new forum, Blizzard hopes that all of us that are interested will be able to find an outlet to discuss and create our very own StarCraft fan fiction. I think it's great that this has finally come, but hey, I don't think the lack of this forum really stopped anyone anyway. Check this new and yes, pretty creative forum out below. I just thought I would, after all the talk and excitement about it, have at least a little talk about the Activision Blizzard conference call. If you weren't aware, the conference call is mostly geared towards financial investors and shareholders, so most of the talk is dealing with the financial side of things and would no doubt bore us StarCraft 2 players. There were a few small tidbits for us though. Blizzard just spoke about StarCraft 2's launch in China and how big esports is set to be there, and the Heart of the Swarm press event that's going down later this month. Sure, not a lot of stuff, but hey, it's something and it's worth a read or listen. You can find the entire thing linked below. Then, before jumping into the GSL news and updates, Blizzard, OnGameNet and MBC Game, those are the guys broadcasting Kipsa affiliated Brood War games, have finally settled their dispute. Yes, finally. The TV channels are now officially licensed by Blizzard to broadcast StarCraft matches by paying the company an annual license fee. Yes, what was one of the biggest esports related IP rights wars is finally over. I'm pretty sure that does indeed count as good news, and you can read more about that below. In the GSL news, as you all probably know, and those of you that don't will soon, the Codes Grand Finals are set to happen on Saturday, May the 13th, between former GSL champ Nesty and OGS Inca. No doubt set to be one of the most epic Protoss vs Zerg matches to date, although many are obviously favouring the former champion's chances. If you're interested, you can read a nice preview of the finals below, and if the games have already happened by the time this goes up, you should be able to find those results below too. Do check them out. In the GSL up and down matches, day 1, 2 and 3 have already been played. Yes, that's all of them. In the first up and down play day, we saw MVP Keen move up to Code S, Trickster stay in Code S, Hosio San drop down to Code A, Zenix Koka move up to Code S, Liquid Jinro drop down to Code A, and lastly OGS Zenio stay in Code S. On day 2, we saw TSL Alive move into Code S, Zenix Biyun keep his place in Code S, Check Prime Wee drop down to Code A, Slayers Ryung stay in Code A, OGS MC stay in Code S, and lastly Hongang Prime Wee also kept his spot in Code S. And then on the third and final playday, we saw Slayers MMA stay in Code A, Marine King Prime stay in Code S, Liquid Huck stay in Code S, MVP Violet move up to Code S from Code A, Zenix Kirik stay in Code S, OGS The Wind drop down to Code A, ST Bomber move up to Code S, Fox Lin down to Code A, and lastly OGS Ensnare managed to stay in Code S. All those results can be seen below, courtesy of Polarfluke. Next up, GomTV has released the brackets for the upcoming GSTL May. The Team League is once again set to pit the top 8 pro teams in Korea against each other shortly after the Code S tournament concludes. Now, a lot of people were wondering why big name team IM was not included in this season's GSTL. Well, the team ranking is based on the amount of Code S and Code A players that each team possesses, and this led to the arrival of the newcomer to the league, the recently created Team MVP, and the replacement of the two-time finalists Incredible Miracle. Quite a bit of drama, as there always seems to be, but hey, you can read a lot more about it and see what the current team stand-ins look like below. There's a lot of interesting stuff in this week's Gsl Extras. First up, let's start with the biggest. MLG is honored to announce a true game changer for the world of competitive StarCraft 2. Beginning at MLG Columbus and continuing through the 2011 season, Major League Gaming and the GomTV Global StarCraft 2 League are establishing a league exchange program that will send the best MLG players to compete in the GSL and allow top Korean talent to play live in the US. That does sound like a game changer, and I can't wait to see who the first players will be to make this, what I guess is pretty huge trip. You can read a few rumors that are floating around claiming that Day 9 will be making a guest appearance at GomTV to help out with some of the shoutcasting. And you can read an interview with both Code S finalists Nesty and Inca. Then it seems like Sase will also be making the trip to Korea to participate in the GSL after winning the Rakaka.se Road to Korea tournament. The next Clash of the Houses champ will apparently earn a trip to MLG. Coca-Cola has sponsored Team IM. Artosis was caught screaming quite loudly at the GSL. You can check that video out right here on YouTube. Not that it's anything new though. And lastly, in the extras, you can watch a video of Moletrap doing flips. Pretty entertaining and quite unexpected. Check all those extras and more out below. Yet another StarCraft 2 tournament with a prize pool of over 100,000 US dollars has been announced. Yes, that is pretty huge. Enter the StarCraft 2 Open Season 1. The tournament will be organized and cast from Bangkok, Thailand, with a live studio audience, although the players apparently don't need to be present. 32 players will be selected from those who sign up and play over the course of 11 days, which will all be broadcast live between August the 8th and August the 19th. Sign-ups for the tournament will begin on May the 15th, and we've been told that absolutely everyone is welcome to sign up, although the final 32 players will be selected from the sign-ups in June. Sounds great, and I can't wait for even more StarCraft 2 tournament and event excitement, especially if there's that much money on the line. Read more below. I thought I would just mention that the South African competition Polar Fluke Muta Mayhem was played and completed this past weekend, as a lot of you that regular my channel no doubt know. But for those that don't know, the finals were between the Zerg player Enjoy and the Protoss player Panda Tank. I won't spoil the games for you by giving you the results, but I will link you to the VODs of the finals. There was also a pretty epic show match between the winner of those and well-known international Zerg player Dabu. Quite a lot of excitement for just 1 week. You can find those results, replays, VODs and more below, courtesy of Polar Fluke, Megarom and Mojo Dojo. In the TSL 3 updates, well, there's not really that much happening. We've just been patiently waiting for the finals between Dignitas Naniwa and Mao's Thorzane. They are set to battle it out live in New York City this coming Sunday in this exciting conclusion of the third Team Liquid Star League. Yes indeed, there's a lot more than just money at stake here, so don't miss it. Read more below. Oh, and you can also check out this little promo video of the two StarCraft 2 pros playing various other games against each other in anticipation of the finals. Quite a laugh. Enjoy that right here on YouTube. Time for the always interesting North American Star League updates. Well, interesting to some at least. I decided, after receiving quite a lot of feedback on the matter, that it is probably better if I don't name the winners of and announce every single matchup. Instead, I will just tell you that the results from Week 4, Day 3, all the way through to Week 5, Day 2 can be found below, and that they are in fact quite exciting. I won't lie. Yes, that is all for the results. In the NASL Extras, which there aren't really very many of, you can read even more Idra ban drama. Yes, the bad boy of the StarCraft scene is never done. Next up, you can read what Idra said about Cruncher while cast in the NASL. Something along the lines of, he will cheese twice here and probably fail. Then Idra told a little story about calling Cruncher a random fat guy. Needless to say, it didn't go down so well with the NASL guys and girls. Anyway, more entertainment for us. Check it out below. In some smaller tournament and event updates, the qualifiers for the second season of the IGN Pro League have started up. You can find some results from the first week of the EG Masters Cup below, some round of 16 results from the Stars War, more DreamHack invites, and lastly, MLG Columbus is set to feature Korean participants. Find out who they are below, along with the rest of those updates. With that done, let's head on over to the tournament and event smalls. In this week's smalls, you can check out the Spanishiwa vs TLO Best of 7 show match series VODs. They were cast by Husky. There's another Best of 7 show match coming up between FXO, Optic Zero and 6jack's Terran. You can check out even more results from the latest Gosu Cup qualifier along with some VODs. The IPL Season 1 replay pack has been released. Zotac is expanding to North America, and lastly you can check out some behind the scenes videos with Dignitas from MLG Dallas. In this week's art and image updates, we do once again have a ton of really cool stuff, as if that will ever change. First up, we have an update on the official fan art gallery, 2 new pieces from the StarCraft universe, both of which are pretty detailed and well worth looking at. Next up, we have some cute Zerg art. There isn't really a better way to explain this. Simple yet satisfying. And hey, there's even a Nyanling to have a look at. It's true, and it is in fact terrifyingly cute. Then, a A Marine asking us to vote for John Waite? Well, okay then. That's a pretty interesting tactic they're using. Read the full story and see the image in full size below. Is it possible to edit your StarCraft II installation to connect to all the regions? This fan says it is. Read more about that below. Next, a pretty funny series of images about a guy that flew his Terran command center to one of the gold bases in the middle of Metalopolis. Then he proceeded to scout with an SCV that was sporting the gold bling it had just mined. Yes, clever stuff. The reaction of the Terran that got caught makes it well worth a read. Check the full thing out below. Then you can see a photo of Zoe commentating on some WoW. No excuse needs to be made for these. Lastly, in our image updates, we have what is possibly the most badass movie poster ever made. Nick, tasteless plot is The Nerd Slayer. Yeah, incredibly well done. Check it out in full size below and be sure to leave a comment of appreciation. Now time for the video or YouTube updates. Yes, some of these aren't even on YouTube, but that doesn't mean they're not worth checking out. Anyway, first up, Sebastian from Polygon Review is back. Along with his return comes great news that he will now, as he has found a little spare time, also be shoutcasting StarCraft II games, along with all the other fun and interesting stuff he already does right here on YouTube. We did miss you while you were gone, Sebastian, but this more than makes up for it. If you are at all interested in some StarCraft II commentary, interviews, or other general StarCraft II goodness, be sure to check his channel out right after this. If you were wondering, his virgin commentaries were in fact of Naniwa vs White Ra, a great series. Do you watch that new series, Game of Thrones? Are you enjoying it? Do you love StarCraft II? Well, this video is for you. The Game of Thrones intro has been remade in the StarCraft II Galaxy Editor. Check the video out right here on YouTube or download the map to try it on your PC. Great stuff. Next, G4 TV's very own StarCraft expert Leah Jackson lends her intelligent mind to explain the storyline of the StarCraft franchise in her own quite humorous way. G4 says it best, you'd better take your seat, class is in session. Then, in response to a Reddit post which said, I read this entire post in your casting voice, Total Biscuit decided to go a step further and provide the real thing. Yes, you'll have to watch this one, I can't really explain it at all. But, as all of his stuff is, this is in fact quite entertaining. A pretty creative guy that has a channel right here on YouTube put together a video titled StarCraft II Diamond League, not a diamond ring. This video covers his quest to become a Diamond League player. Needless to say, it goes horribly wrong when his girlfriend thinks he's gonna buy her a diamond ring and propose to her romantically. Will this story have a fairy tale ending? Check it out for yourself to find out. There's apparently another StarCraft II news show coming soon where all your weekly StarCraft II news and tournament and community needs will be met. Thus far, there's only been an announcement of said show, which is titled Newscraft, but hey, it's probably worth keeping an eye on. Check that announcement out right here on YouTube and stay tuned at the creator's channel for that first episode. Boxer riding a mechanical rodeo bull? Yep, this StarCraft Pro really seems to be doing all sorts of weird things lately. Check the full thing out below. Then we have yet another caricature speed painting, this one of TLO. Quite impressive. I gotta say, I really love how the artist portrays these players. Ridiculous, yet so funny. StarCraft II custom map Smashcraft version 2.0 is here, and it features a ton of new features for both new and veteran players alike. Watch the new and most definitely quite impressive trailer right here on YouTube. Careful though, make sure you have some time set aside, because the chances are after you watch it, you will be on Battle.net looking to get into one of those games. Then a video of Husky being told how to say Shakura's Plateau properly. Pretty entertaining. Lastly, in our video updates, a new YouTube show called SC2 Mythbusters has been started up. It's a lot like the show, obviously, but it's all about StarCraft II. They let us know that the myths range from common things like the kills on High Templars are added when warped into Archons, to crazy things like a Viking's portrait changes when it transforms. Pretty cool and most probably worth checking out. You can, as usual, find all those videos linked below. Enjoy. Team Liquid have launched a new site for, I guess, the casual news readers, LiquidPro. They tell us that with the creation of TeamLiquidPro.com, they can go all out with the coverage of Team Liquid and better serve its fans. The site features a handy VOD archive, Liquid news and featured articles, a dedicated Liquid player calendar, the ability to follow Liquid players in real time, new opportunities to pimp out their sponsors, one of which is now Razer. Yes, you can also read about Team Liquid teaming up with Razer below. And lastly, the new site also has new, pretty detailed player profiles. The site is obviously looking great, and they just remind us that Team Liquid Pro is not going to replace TeamLiquid.net's Liquid coverage, but rather enhance it. That does sound good indeed, and any extra StarCraft II coverage is always welcome. Be sure to check the new site out below. As one quick Team Liquid extra, the next issue of Ponytails has been released. That's issue number 4. A great read, or look, as usual, and you can find it below, courtesy of Team Liquid. I've kept the best for last here in the community news. Another new site has launched. This one was born from the frustration of one StarCraft fan that wanted to watch or keep track of all those great StarCraft II streams out there. Yes, all of them. This project originated from the creator's frustration with coming home in the evening and realizing that Day 9, TSL, NASL and Sheth all had their streams going at the same time. He would sometimes open up multiple tabs to keep track of everything, which would usually end up with having to deal with 10 separate streams of audio blaring at once. That just wouldn't do. All he wanted was a way to control what he was watching with one hand and do it as smoothly as possible. Enter warpprism.com. This site is absolutely amazing and it really does everything it claims and more. I can't explain it to you guys and girls, you just have to check it out for yourselves. I guarantee you, with the love going into this one, I have no doubt it's here to stay. You can find the site linked below, and if you have the same problem the creator of this beauty had, consider it a thing of the past. There's also a comic explaining how the site came to pass below. It might help some of you understand it all a little better. With that done, let's head on over to the community smalls. There are quite a lot of smalls to look at this week. Over on the official site, you can see how Blizzard celebrated World Wish Day. Lock and load with new StarCraft II designs from Jinx. There's a poll up titled Melee Map Madness. And lastly on the official site, the next custom map spotlight post is up. Then a couple of interviews, one with Huck, Idra, Grubby, Marine King, Cruncher, SCFOU, QXC, and PC World has interviewed wellplayed.org. It seems like Whiteraw has been hacked. You can read more about that over at Team Liquid. Thorzane has joined up with Mouse Sports. Nightend joins Fnatic. Strelok joins Imba.fxo. There are rumors that Day 9 might well team up with Team Liquid soon. Lazarus Gaming has disbanded. There's a new MIM SC2 team manager. Jinro has stated that he won't be leaving Korea for good anytime soon. And then a couple of pretty interesting posts. One, a heartfelt thank you to Team Liquid. The Mass Queen Phenomena. The Elephant in the Room. Slayer's Min. Message from Korea number 2. And then a really interesting one from Business Insider where a millionaire claims he learned a lot of his life lessons from playing StarCraft. For all you map makers out there, SC2 Mapster has some pretty interesting video tutorials up. There's an Adel Scott highlight video up. This was done by Millennium. You can check out Unit Lost, StarCraft II casting with added stim. Remember to keep checking those Brother Mac updates. And lastly, if Idra had a sword. There are some very interesting and creative lines to check out in this post. Sadly, that's all I have for you in this StarCraft news episode. The news will be back to normal for this coming week, so stay tuned for some Diablo goodness shortly after the weekend, followed by World of Warcraft news. Thanks for watching, and most importantly, happy StarCrafting.